Take a look at the person next to you. Say God loves you and I love you too. Now feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. We come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love, we come together, 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 we come together. In the name of love. Now look at the person next to you. Say, I recognize the God in you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Now lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, we come together, we come together, we come together, we come together. In the name of love, from every walk of life, every walk of life, every creed and color, in kinship we unite, in honor of the God in each other. Take a look at the person next to you. Say, namaste, I bow to you. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Feel the love in the sanctuary. Lift your voice and repeat after me. Oh, we come together. 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 In the name of love, we come together. 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 In the name of love, we come together. 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 In the name of love, we come together. We come together. We come together. We come together. We come together.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Unity of Springfield. We're going to begin our service in song by joining together in singing Swing Wide the Doors. It's number 37 in the Blue Book.
Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors on this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, the time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors on this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors, time is right. Swing wide the doors to let in the light. Bring in the dawn for humankind. Swing wide the doors on this heart of mine. Swing wide the doors on this heart of mine.
Thank you, Gay and Alyssa. Well, we light this Christ candle here as a part of our connection to the greater unity movement, and we connect and hold individual ministries in prayer each week. And so this week we hold all the ministries in the state of Nebraska in prayer. There are a number of them in Omaha, there's one in Lincoln. And so we think of these ministries doing their work, serving their communities. We think of the state of Nebraska to the west of us. And then we expand our vision to include our world, our planet Earth, our home. And we see each person provided with what they need to not only survive, but to thrive, to live the life that they choose to live. And we give thanks for this knowing, and so it is. Amen. And now we welcome Linda Schneider, who will be our platform assistant today. Here she comes. You're welcome.
Good morning, friends. We are so glad you're here to join us today for worship. We extend a special welcome to those of you visiting for the first time. On your way in today, you should have received a welcome packet, and we also have a gift for you. Please see one of our greeters after today's service. Unity is a worldwide spiritual movement. We are an inclusive community, and we welcome all people. For our announcements, a memorial service for former minister Reverend Jerry Comstock has been scheduled for Saturday, February 15th, 1 p.m., here at Unity of Springfield. The service will also be live streamed through our YouTube and Facebook channels for those who are unable to make it in person. A light reception will follow in Margaret Kane Hall. Officiating will be Reverend Alden Studebaker, and our licensed Unity teachers, Cindy Luton, Karen Kelly, Peggy Tell, and Donna Studebaker. Everyone is welcome to attend. The Youth and Family Ministry is hosting a Community Tech Connection Time next Sunday, February 16th at 11:30 a.m. Everyone desiring assistance and support using our digital network is invited to join us. We will help you connect to our YouTube videos, Facebook page, and online giving. We will also share tips to help us expand our ministry using these resources. And Reiki treatments will be offered after the service today in the chat room. Using the sign-up sheet located in the foyer, or ask any one of our Reiki practitioners wearing an orange lanyard to receive a free 12 to 15-minute treatment. If you're number 1 and number 2 on the sign-up sheet, go to the chat room after the service to begin your treatment. Other participants, please continue to enjoy fellowship in Margaret Kane Hall until you are called by one of our practitioners. The 9 a.m. Spiritually Speaking class on Sundays is currently studying The Dynamic Laws of Prosperity by Catherine Ponder. Everyone is welcome to attend, and books are available from our bookstore. Then, on this Tuesday at 11 a.m., Peggy Tell will host our Unity Prayer Service in Zoom. This is a space to support with prayer those on our prayer list, on our hearts, and in our community. Then on Wednesday at 5:30, Karen Kelly will lead the gathering meditation via Zoom, creating a sacred space for quiet, introspective meditation. Upcoming events scheduled for our youth and family ministry are Creative Adventures happening February 23rd at noon, and a play date March 2nd at noon. Both will be in the youth ed room. All are welcome to join in the flute circle with David Tell on Thursday, February 13th at 1 p.m., held here in the sanctuary. Beginners are encouraged to come as well. The Artist's Way, a 12-week course facilitated by Doug Brackney, will be coming Monday, February 17th, and running through May 5th from 1 to 3 p.m. Class size is limited, so be sure to secure your spot by registering on the sign-up sheet in the foyer or contact the office. You are invited to participate in the monthly drumming circle with Dave Tell on Thursday, February 20th at 6 p.m., held in Margaret Kane Hall. And there are still announcements. We have got a busy going place around here. My gosh. Mark your calendars for our upcoming membership class, Who and what is Unity of Springfield on Wednesday, March 5th from 6:30 to 8. This membership class is open to everyone and a good refresher class. If you're interested in becoming a member, it is required for those wanting to join the church. We will cover topics such as unity history, essential unity principles, and membership basics. Love offerings received. Sign up in the foyer or contact the office. Emails are sent out weekly that have information on current happenings and how to join in events. To sign up for our emails, ask a greeter for a yellow card to fill out or visit our website to subscribe. Also, check out our website for up-to-date information at unityofspringfieldil.org. And today, we would like to give a special thank you to licensed Unity teacher Cindy Luton for being our guest speaker last Sunday. Thank you, Cindy. Wonderful message. Creating our lives and our world through the thoughts and beliefs we hold in mind is a spiritual principle we practiced at Unity of Springfield. We also know this truth together. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life, God, the source of all good. And our vision statement together, a world powerfully transformed through the growing movement of shared spiritual awakening. Our mission statement together, we recognize God as love, individualized in all people. Therefore, we provide a positive environment for spiritual growth that empowers all to be God's love in the world. And our youth and family ministry affirmation together. Our youth and family ministry empowers the next generation with loving kindness and acceptance, creating a safe, sacred space for children, teens, and young adults to explore, discover, and experience spirituality. And Mary Disler will read today's daily word. Thank you, Mary.
Good morning. The daily word for today, Sunday, February 9th, 2025, is power. And the affirmation, I have the power to choose my thoughts and direct my life. Feeling my power from within means I am grounded in spiritual truth and understanding. I speak my mind with calm certainty and change my mind whenever I choose. I live in a state of inner security and mastery. If I wish to make changes, I take dominion of myself and have faith in my innate power as a spiritual being. In the past, I may have looked outside myself to feel powerful, taking on another's beliefs or affiliating with something outside myself. Now I understand true power comes from within. I take dominion over my thoughts and feelings. I live my truth in confidence, knowing my thoughts derive from divine ideas. One with God, I have the power to create my life. And from 2 Timothy, chapter 1, verse 7, for God did not give us a spirit of cowardice, but rather a spirit of power and of love and of self-discipline. Once again, our daily word is power, and let us say the affirmation together, please. I have the power to choose my thoughts and direct my life. Okay, and before we hear today's meditation and message from Reverend Alden, let us sing Our Thoughts Are Prayers, which is on page 32 of our Blue Songbook.
Every thought becomes a prayer. What an awesome thought. What an empowering idea. And so we enter into meditation right now with the understanding that our thoughts are directing our awareness, our consciousness. And we begin that process by entering into a state of relaxation, beginning with gently closing our eyes and letting go of our attention to everything in the outer world. And instead, directing our attention to what lies within. And within us is a greater world than even exists in the outer. It is the realm of consciousness, expansive, all-encompassing, touching many places, shapes, forms, ideas, energies, vibrations. It is what Jesus referred to as the kingdom of heaven. And he said, it is within us. So we understand the kingdom of heaven not to just be someplace we go later. It is a place that we live in all the time, as long as we stay attuned to this higher consciousness, this more empowering consciousness. And all we have to do, just close our eyes, relax, begin to breathe freely and easily, not in a fast, repetitive way like so often happens, but breathing in slowly and breathing out with ease. And in this way, our awareness moves into a state of calmness, inner poise. And it is from this place that we can see ourselves thinking. What a place. But it's an important place to go for each of us in helping to see how we're thinking and decide if that's the best way for us. And perhaps when we see that we've been spending time in concern and worry and fear and just wondering what's around the corner, we can observe that this doesn't always bring us what we truly want. Generally, more of the same. But what our souls are seeking is what's already within our souls. It is that place of inner peace, calm. It is that place of being inspired with ideas that fill us with excitement and joy. And when we're able to set aside that aspect of consciousness that is always nattering away, pushing, being confrontive or having to insist on what we think is the best. When we're able to see that and make a course correction and realize that as we let go and let God, as we let go and allow the universal spirit of energy and life and intelligence flow through us, this expansiveness of the kingdom of heaven, that we're provided with the direction and ideas that are best for us, that bring us what we truly want in life. It is then that what we seek emerges and makes itself known. And all we have to do is close our eyes, really relax, and just open up. Open up to the good that is God's Spirit. Open up to the infinite nature of the creative power and process of the universe. And that may seem far beyond our everyday consciousness and life. Yet it isn't. It is there. It is part of who we are. And so for the next several minutes, let us sit in the quiet and calm and peace of this place or wherever you're experiencing this meditation right now. And to feel your openness to the flow of Spirit for a moment in the silence. It is with gratitude and thankfulness that we come forth from meditation. Grateful for the opportunity we have to experience our connection, our oneness with the infinite Spirit of God, the infinite Spirit of good that is ever flowing through us. And we, from this point forward, remember who we are as spiritual beings, living in this human existence and doing so to the highest and best of our ability, and through the support and guidance and nurturing of divine love. And for this time of meditation and inner reflection, we give thanks and do so in the name and through the power and through the nature of the living Christ presence within us all. And so it is. Amen. Well, it's so good to see everybody after being off for a Sunday, which means I haven't seen you in 2 weeks, unless you came by the office. But I'd like to thank everybody who makes this service possible, to our music crew, to Gay and Alyssa, and to our platform crew, Linda Schneider and Mary, and back in the tech booth, Chris Smith and Danny, to Bill and Sandy, our greeters, and Chris Farashon, our administrator, who gets all these slides like the one you see right up here with the candle together for us each week. Welcome to everyone watching us on YouTube and Facebook. I want to mention before I start my talk what a great time I had last night at our art show, and thank you to Doug Brackney and to Nancy here for facilitating that and putting it on. And you know, after the service, if you didn't make the art show, just go in the room behind me here and check out all the new art. It's really cool. I just love being here in this church when we have the art show up. I spend a lot of time here in this church, and I go in there and I just love just standing there looking around and go, oh, I work at an art gallery. Yeah. And this Saturday, I hope those of you who can be here at 1 o'clock for the honoring of one of our former ministers, Reverend Jerry Comstock. I didn't know her. I wish I had. But we will give her a good blessing, and I hope you can come here to be a part of it. The license teacher and I will be coordinating this. And if you can't make it, we will be live streaming it, as you heard. This past week, I spent most of the time in Kansas City going to meetings at what is called the annual summit. It's had various names over the years, like January meetings, but then they moved it to February, so they had to come up with some fancy name for it. And you can go to it by Zoom, which is what I did last year and I think the year before that. But something inside me said, you need to be there in person, and there was an in-person option. And so we went to Kansas City. Of course, we all know that's not super far away. And I'm glad I went there because I was able to reconnect with our, for lack of a better word, denomination. We're not real fond on using these more classical church terms, but I came away from the meetings feeling encouraged, and for a number of reasons. One of the reasons, and this is something that's been talked about for at least 20 years, you may not know, but there are actually 2 organizations within Unity. Sounds weird, right? Because Unity, one. Well, for 60 years, there's been something called the Association of Unity Churches, what we now call Unity Worldwide Ministries, or UWM if you like acronyms. And there's been the mother church, for lack of a better word, Unity School of Christianity, Unity Worldwide Headquarters. Well, part of the meetings was sitting there and listening to the CEOs and chairpersons of the boards of both organizations talking about bringing it back together. And there will be a vote on this the end of the year with UWM that we're a part of. And so that was very encouraging. The other thing that was encouraging was the response to the topic of the day in the United States. I don't think I need to say a whole lot more than that. And our board of trustees, I don't mean our church board, but the UWM board, spent a lot of time coming up with what is called the UWM Social Action Statement. And I got to hear it read in the room, and I had my camera with me. Turn up the volume.
Peace, love,
Higher.
equality, and justice into the world in ways we cannot imagine when we are working in solidarity and siloed ways. We are stronger together. Our commitment to action that seeks to discriminate against individuals or classes of individuals based on prejudice, stereotypical profiles of national origin, class, creed, race, ethnicity, physical ability, sexual orientation, or gender identity is in opposition to the core beliefs and values established by our founders. We are stronger together when we recognize the interconnectedness and interdependence of all life. This is the foundation on which we stand when engaging in social action to demonstrate and live out our commitments to freedom, peace, love, equity, and justice, our communal well-being. That is our statement of truth around social action. We want to give thanks to the social action team. If you're wanting to be a part of that team, you can reach out to Russell Hyland, and he will make sure you get on so we can have our voices heard and to state who we are. And I want to really acknowledge Reverend Kelly Isola for her part on that team in crafting and molding and giving these beautiful young words for us to take in. We give thanks for this team and our movement in this moment. And so it is.
You can see why I needed to be there in person. And if you're wondering why they're all a bunch of Pentecostals doing this kind of thing, it's because if we clapped, the people on Zoom couldn't hear anything, so we had to go to other ways of showing our affirmative support. So I just thought you'd want to hear that, and we're certainly in sync with what our home office is doing. And she mentioned somebody named Russ you need to talk to. He was sitting right in front of me there. I've known Russ for a long time. He's a cool guy. But anyway, we continue to be affirmative of our principles and do our best. I don't know if I always do my best, but do our best to respond to when we see injustice or when we see something that's really out of kilter and needs to be blessed in some way. Anyway, y'all came for a sermon. Yes,
May I ask a question?
you may.
I would be interested in having a written script of that so that I can.
It's coming, and they're going to be putting it on their website. I'd hoped it would have been up by now. You know, it takes a while to get things done, and we'll put it on our Facebook page. And I'll put this on the Facebook page too. But excellent question. So, for the next few weeks, we're going to be looking at the essential ideas of Jesus from the Sermon on the Mount. I think that's probably one of the best parts of the Bible. If anybody came to me and said, okay, if I'm reading the Bible, I don't know where to start, and what would you recommend? Because people think ministers are experts on the Bible. I don't know much about the Bible myself. I wrote a book about it, but it's a channeled work, actually. I would recommend the book of Genesis in the Hebrew Scriptures, and probably the book of Matthew in the Christian Scriptures. And of course, that puts you right in there with the Sermon on the Mount. So we're going to be taking some time discerning these words of Jesus, these words of wisdom. And I remember when I was a minister in Cincinnati, I was there for quite a while, and we did a lot of weddings in the church there. We had a pretty chapel. And I remember this couple coming there, and they were a little unsure about our church. They had all kinds of questions, and they asked me a very direct question of whether we were Christian or not, because they'd heard some minister refer to unity as a cult. And of course, you don't want to be called a cult, do you? Even though all religion is a cult, if you want to get technical about it. And so I simply looked up at the stained glass window in the church and went, Now, for those of you who can't see the slide that's on the wall here, the stained glass window of what's now called Unity in Garden Park in Cincinnati, Ohio, is an acclaimed stained glass window. It's on the list of stained glass windows in Cincinnati of Jesus walking on the water. I got to speak in this church for 10 years with Jesus looking over my shoulder all the time. And at the same time, Jesus was also following the speeders on Galbraith Road with those eyes, like back and forth. It's an awesome stained glass window. What more could I have said? I just looked up. I go, hey there, what do you think? I think they booked the wedding, if I remember right. I'm asked about Jesus all the time, especially by people who are unfamiliar with Unity. They never heard of Unity. So where would you go to find out about Unity today, here, 2025? What would you do? I'll do this, right? Wikipedia. Yeah, let's go to Wikipedia. Well, what does Wikipedia say about Unity? Well, it says here, Unity, known informally as Unity Church, is an organization founded by Charles and Myrtle Fillmore in 1889. It grew out of transcendentalism and became part of the New Thought movement. Unity is known for its daily word devotional publication. Which was originally considered a positive, practical Christianity, which teaches the effective daily application of principles of truth taught and exemplified by Jesus Christ. Unity now describes itself as for people who might call themselves spiritual but not religious. So that's Wikipedia. Not bad. That's a pretty decent explanation. I mean, we could roll with that. If you're wondering where the photo's from, where it says Welcome to Unity on a big rock there, that's at Unity of Tucson, Arizona. I had the pleasure of speaking there back in January of 2020 as a candidate for their minister. I didn't get the job. It's okay. It's okay. I finally made it here. Well, thank you. I mean, I wasn't trying to get an applause. I was just saying, I just speaking from the heart, because I love the moderate climate here in Springfield. People say, well, why did you move here from Florida? The moderate climate. And they're like, if I came from Tucson, I'd say the moderate climate, because you ever been there in July? I have. I was there in January. That wasn't bad. That was pretty good. Anyway. So we are defined as practical Christianity, spiritual, but not religious, which means we don't take this book and beat people over the head with it. This is my prop for today, just to let you know. I'm going to use it later. Now, I won't beat you with it. I trust me. So there's going to be some element of Jesus' words and teachings in the equation, in the substance of what is unity. And so how we accept Jesus or relate to Jesus, the way that we do that, the nature of that, is not in unity up to some minister telling you this is how you got to do it. It's not my call. It's your call. You decide. I'll give you my perspective. You can agree with me, not agree with me. But there's something about what Jesus did and what he had to say that, connects with us in some way. His consciousness, this example. Co-founders of Unity, Charles and Myrtle Fillmore. I would describe them in words of the 1970s as Jesus freaks. They were. They liked Jesus. They studied Jesus. I would say they are huge fans. Read their books. That's what you see in there. And if you think about the culture of their day, they grew up in the Victorian era. What else did they have? They didn't have the access to all the different cultures and information and stuff that we have today and all the writers and whatever. They were kind of the pioneers of this stuff, And so they reinterpreted in a positive, practical way Jesus' teachings. And in unity, we tend to refer to Jesus not in the more typical ways that maybe you grew up with in your church of origin, but I'd say the top three in unity would be master teacher, way shower, elder brother. Master teacher, way shower, elder brother. And when I say that, I'm not casting that in concrete and you can take it to the bank, only if you want to. Maybe you have a different view of Jesus, like he was a great philosopher, or he's my best friend. I don't know. But something that he did and something that he said got written down by somebody along the way. And so for the next several weeks, we're going to focus on these kernels of Jesus' teachings, the Sermon on the Mount, and especially the Beatitudes. And we're going to derive spiritual benefit, practical, spiritual meaning from each of these words. And these are just short phrases that Jesus was sharing with his disciples. They were gathered around and listening. And these are the foundational blocks which became the essence of Christianity. And his disciples and others carried that message forward, carried it out into the world. So we have his message today as a help, as a guide, and inspiration. So, the first of the Beatitudes. Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. You could also say happy. That's another word for blessed. Or happy are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. Now, for me, literally at face value, this statement seems a little odd, a little strange. It seems that it's indicating that it's virtuous or a good thing to be poor, not having enough, poor in some religious way. That poorness is to be encouraged and developed and nurtured and cultivated because, if you do that, well, according to this, you're going to be in the kingdom of heaven. It belongs to the kingdom of heaven, but we understand that to mean a blessed state of consciousness, right? And doesn't that strike you as kind of the reverse of what you'd expect? Poor in spirit, kingdom of heaven? If we were Bible literalists, and we want to get into the kingdom of heaven, which many people think is someplace beyond what we're experiencing now in this physical world, we do whatever it takes, wouldn't we? We become what we think it means to be poor in spirit. And we might think, well, I've got to be kind of like a spiritual doormat. Poor in spirit, go ahead, walk on me. Or stepped on, or we need to be kind of weak or spineless, cowering, poor in spirit. I'm poor in spirit, that's what that means, right? And why would we think that? Well, because, that kingdom of heaven, that's where we want to be. But in unity and in many other schools of religion, we're not Bible literalists. As a student of the Bible, let me be, as one of our former presidents used to say, perfectly clear. This is the last book you want to take literally. I'm holding it the right way up. I'll put it away. So when it comes to peculiar statements like this one that make a lot of direct sense, what do we do? Did we just run away from it? Oh, that's just a bunch of baloney, move on. Well, maybe it's an opportunity to dig a little deeper. So we'll be doing a lot of that in the next few weeks, digging a little deeper into these statements of Jesus. And perhaps there's more to this statement than initially meets the eye. And so we have to kind of get into the mind of Jesus, and not just in this exact sense here, but look at his total message as presented in the Gospels. and not just one line, and we can begin to see what he was kind of getting at. So dealing with the Bible, we've got to keep this in mind. People forget this. It wasn't written in English. Let me say it again. It wasn't written in English. It's a translation. It's a translation predominantly from Hebrew and Greek. And we're not talking about modern Hebrew and Greek. Ancient Hebrew and Greek. Of course, ancient Hebrew is close to modern Hebrew, but ancient Greek, taking both languages is different. Yeah. The Greek of Aristotle is not the Greek of the people of Greece right now. That's what I'm trying to say. And so when we look at the New Testament, we call it that, or the Christian scriptures, which is this here. This was written in Greek originally. And it's likely Jesus didn't even speak these words in Greek. I'm not saying he maybe wasn't familiar with Greek, because, Greek was what English is today in our world. Back then, Greek was a language. You can thank Alexander the Great for that. But he likely spoke this in Aramaic. Somebody heard it, remembered it. Somebody later wrote it down maybe in Aramaic. Later, wrote it down in Greek. So it gets a little distilled along the way, I guess is a way of putting it. And so what Bible translators try to do is do their best with the manuscripts they have that are written in Greek and to render them into English in a way that helps capture the meaning of the statement, the vernacular. And they do their best to do that. And so we can see how Bible study requires an understanding of this process. To not just take hook, line, and sinker. Here's what it said. Jesus said it. It was written down, of course. Where's my Bible? In a black leather Bible like this, in only one translation. It came out in the year 1611. If you like Shakespeare, that's the translation you're going to want, the King James Version. And there are some people that still think this is how the only version to follow. Well, would you say the English language has changed from the early 17th century to now? A little. Yeah. So the translators do their best, and the interpretation is up to us. And so what we do is we look at the key words, especially those that trouble us a little bit. And the word poor is one that troubles me a little bit. And so we look at these key words and we go, well, what's that word poor mean in how it was written down originally? Yep. Welcome to Bible study class, everybody. And yes, there's some Greek in it. Yeah. The word for poor is tokos. Tokos. Accent on the end if you want to know where you put the Yeah? If you can read Greek, it's there for you. If you don't, there's the English transliteration right there. And it means poor, but it also means kind of begging or destitute or powerless, needy, lacking something. And it's used in the Greek language in a whole lot of ways. To even describe somebody who is a beggar, you would use a derivation of this word. And so it means that there's something that you need to diminish in order to experience or the kingdom of heaven. And then there's this second word here, spirit. So you need to diminish or reduce or whatever the spirit. Now, the word spirit has a lot of meanings. It means holy, sacred, sanctified. We can think of a lot of different religious terms for it. But what we're looking at here is what it means in the original Greek, and it comes from the word pneuma, or pneumati. And this is where we get the word pneumatic, the English word pneumatic. And it means the movement of air, the breath. It can also refer to the self, to the mind, to the intellect, to the rational side of our nature as human beings. And so when we start to put this together, we can start to begin to get a feel that maybe this is more than just how it reads in a basic sense, poor in spirit, inherit kingdom of heaven, that maybe there's something that we need to do in consciousness in order to experience this kingdom of heaven, this place that we understand to be the realm of divine ideas. And so we look to experts on Bible interpretation, metaphysical interpretation, and one of the best, and we're going to be looking at a lot of what he says in the next few weeks, are the words of Emmett Fox. Now, if you are a member of 12-Step, you know who Emmett Fox is and the Golden Key. If you've been studying unity a while, you know who Emmett Fox is. And he said this about this statement. He says, to be poor in spirit means to have emptied yourself of all desire to exercise personal self-will. And what is just as important is to have renounced all preconceived opinions in the wholehearted search for God. It means to be willing to set aside your present habits of thought, your present views and prejudices, your present way of life, if necessary, to jettison, in fact, anything and everything that can stand in the way of your finding God. Wow. Wow. What Jesus was saying here is that, if you want to experience this higher realm of consciousness, you got to let go of some stuff. You got to let go of that bag of stuff you've been carrying around with you. To relinquish human concepts. To set aside our intellect for a while. The thing that's jabbering in our minds for a while. To transcend mental activity. And even rational, this has to mean that. We have to give up excessive opinions. Crystallize belief systems. Attitudes and prejudices. Yeah. And so that's hard for us to do because we like our stuff. But sometimes our thinking and our stuff gets molded into concrete. And how do you get apart concrete? You go down to the rental place and you get a jackhammer and you just start blasting away on the stuff till it breaks up. But maybe we don't have to use a jackhammer. Maybe we can just observe how we've been thinking, how it hasn't been really working for us, how it raises our blood pressure, makes us feel fearful, whatever. Because as long as we hold tenaciously to the self, in this case we're talking about spirit, small s, okay? The intellect, our prized ideas, as long as we hold to pig-headedness and being unyielding and kind of closed off in our own little world, we block the flow of the kingdom of heaven. We get in the way of our own good. And we understand the kingdom of heaven, kingdom of God, the same thing basically. It's not a place we go. It's a state of consciousness within every person. It is the realm of divine ideas. It is where solutions come from. It's where brilliance comes from. It's where love comes from. So, if we do so long enough, and we spend time enough letting go of this, the kingdom of heaven and all that it is, all the love, peace, and joy, and bliss, and wholeness, can have a chance of showing up. And we feel it, and we know it, and we experience it. And we just have to let it go. You let go of everything. You jettison, in fact, anything and everything that can stand in the way of your finding God. He couldn't be more emphatic than that. So to be poor in spirit, in the way that Jesus most likely intended, we have to make some small adjustments to our thinking and step out of the normal train of thought that we usually run in, where we're pushing our agenda, we're pushing our way, it has to be this way, and to get to the point of wonderment and openness and receptivity. You've been in meetings where people weren't doing that here? Where everybody's like, I guess. Isn't going anywhere. Nobody wants to blink. I remember when I first moved to Florida, I went to this meeting of people who grew native plants and fruit trees and stuff. The person in the church had invited me to go, and I picked her up, and we went there. It was at a fire station. And these folks hadn't met since COVID had started, so it was like I right back together again. And I sat there as a newbie watching the unfoldment of this. And it kept going on and on between the person running the Facebook page and the person who's the president, and you said this in the past. I'm sitting there like, whoa. When it got to be an opening, I stood up and said, "What's your mission statement?" And they're all looking at me. I'm like, and I turned to my church member and I said, "I'll be waiting for you outside." I walked out of the meeting. Well, sometimes you just gotta let people figure it out. But anyway. So, if we let go of having it to be a certain way, notice how good things start to get. Notice the flow. And notice when we try to set aside the personal will and attachment to it having to be this way, that sometimes it works out better than we could even imagine it. What does it mean to be poor in spirit? Happy are those who are free from prejudice and preconceived ideas, for they will know the best way. Well, with Halloween coming up on, is it Friday? I'm sorry. I'm stuck in the past. Valentine's Day. Whew, thank you for correcting me. I thought I'd sing a song about love. It's not a long one. Yeah, and if you're at the party last night, this is a song, I've never done this song before. And this is my new guitar. No strap, I'll just keep it up here. It's a classical guitar, I've never owned one before. It's my birthday present, thank you, dear. It's the time of the season when love runs high. It's the time, give it to me easy. And let me try with pleasured hands, take you to the sun, to promised lands, to show you everyone. It's the time of the season for loving. What's your name? Who's your daddy? Is he rich like me? Has he taken any time to tell you what you need to live? Tell it to me slowly, tell you why. I really want to know. It's the time of the season for loving. ready. Each like me, has he taken any time to show you what you need to live? Tell it to me slowly, tell you why. I really want to know. It's the time of the season for loving. It's the time of the season for loving. We've got a song we're all going to sing, number 44 in the book, Blue Book. We are blessed.
Divine love within us blesses and honors our talent, our commitment, our time. Divine love within us blesses and honors our talent, our commitment, our time. We are blessings and inspiration. We are blessed, we are inspired. We are blessings and inspiration. We are blessed, we are inspired. Divine love within us blesses and honors our talent, our commitment, our time. Divine love within us blesses and honors our talent, our commitment, our time. We are blessings and inspiration. We are blessed, we are inspired. We are blessings and inspiration. We are blessed, we are inspired. We are blessed, we are inspired.
Thank you, Gay and Alyssa. We now have an opportunity to share of our treasure and of our love with this ministry. If you have a donation you'd like to give today, physically, we have bowls in the back and in the front of the sanctuary to receive your donation, your tithe, your love offering. We also have opportunities to give online, including our website. Go to unityofspringfieldil.org and find the donate link there. Also, you can text to give at 217-335-4121 or mail a check to 417 East Cordelia, Springfield 62703. And we do appreciate everyone's support of our ministry. And so let us affirm now our offering statement together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God. Amen. And now let us pray together the prayer for protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And now let us rise, join hands if you wish, as we sing, Let There Be Peace on Earth.